The clip that follows will be my friend Mr. Binge answering the question, what does it feel like to be high on heroin? Enjoy.
So the question before us is, what is it like to do heroin? Why are you asking me, man? Are you a cop or something? No. So what is it like to do heroin? That's one hell of a question. It's really a rather difficult one to answer with just words. It's quite an ineffable experience. And, how could we describe the ineffable without effing it up, right? Well, I'll give it my best shot. First of all, there are a few different ways to ingest heroin. It's often snorted or smoked. Um, there are probably a few various orifices you can stuff the drug into. Um, but perhaps the most iconic route of administration, most well-known way of doing it is injection. So, to rephrase, the question we'll be trying to answer here is, what is it like to inject heroin? Oh my. Well, I would say the first thing one notices is, particularly if one is an addict, is a sense of relief. Um, as soon as the drug is injected, it travels up the arm into the brain, and it gives an immediate sense of relief. It's like, well, I'd probably be a bit over dramatic if I were to say it would be something like wandering the desert for 40 days without water and finally stumbling upon that oasis and getting out a cup and taking that first sip. Um, I think by the way, one famous description of the drug I think came from Train Spotting, where the Ewan McGregor character, Renton or something, described heroin as take your best orgasm ever, multiply it by 1,000,000, and you're still nowhere close, or something like that. And I would say such a description of the relief is likewise um, a bit dramatic. I would say something closer to reality is maybe the feeling of, if you're a smoker, perhaps you can relate to being stuck at a long movie and perhaps a dinner immediately thereafter without having a cigarette. And so, you're tied up for a good maybe 3 hours without a smoke, and you finally have that first puff off of a cigarette. Yeah, I would say the sense of relief is similar to that. Um, so, beyond the sense of relief, I mean, I don't think that people are, um, basically selling their soul to the devil just to have a prolonged cigarette a few times a day. So there's more to it than that. So beyond the relief, I would say a consequence would be a feeling of pain relief, particularly if you don't have much of a tolerance or a habit. When heroin is injected, one of the pharmacological effects is it turns into morphine, and morphine's a well-known painkiller. You break a leg and call the ambulance, you might get a shot of morphine. I'm not recommending it, but um, and the pain relief would be something like it doesn't numb the pain in the sense that, say, oh, maybe Oragel would numb a toothache. It simply makes the pain not as bothersome, perhaps. It takes the edge off of it. Um, so we have a relief-giving painkiller. Let's see, what else could we say about it? Oh my. Well, a quick word on one of the things that could be relieving the user from. When people become dependent on heroin, if they stopped abruptly, they would go through a pretty agonizing ordeal known as withdrawal. That would be and again, this would be a rather ineffable experience as well. I think heroin withdrawal is often compared to flu. Um, I don't think that really fully does it justice, but there are, of course, a lot of flu-like symptoms in withdrawal. There's the chills, runny nose, watering eyes, all sorts of throwing up, diarrhea. Really a nasty experience. And so if a person goes several hours without a dose of heroin, then withdrawal is what he has to look forward to. And once he starts to feel the effects of that, then that shot he takes will certainly provide an added sense of relief from what he was going through. So we have heroin, this god awful medicine that causes such a horrible withdrawal, and it does little more than relieve pain and give a sense of relief. Are there any other things I could say about it to give the viewer perhaps a clearer picture of what goes on when one shoots up heroin? Well, there is also, in addition to the physical pain relief, there is a mental pain relief of sorts. The mood of the user can go from, well, whatever it was immediately before shooting, to basically a really calm state, sort of not unlike something that you would get from maybe popping a Valium. Yeah, I wish I knew how to describe it in terms of just more and more drugs, but um, not unlike Valium, not unlike just a sort of natural calm. Um, it's well, it's the buzz itself is often described in very physical terms. It's often compared. It's the case of that train spotting quote, not only to relief but to sex, to an orgasm, to an orgasmic feeling. There's euphoria, and well, that's heroin in a nutshell. It's not a great description, but again, we're limited by words here, so hopefully that gives the viewer some sense of what the drug does.